there's a walk-in, but there's also like a slamming phenomena.
Yeah.
What's that?
Um, so guy's gonna walk in, he's gonna walk out, and just before he walks in, you go some other entity goes slams into him, but he doesn't catch it. It happens in subtle way or so quickly or just before he gets in that he doesn't remember it. It happened and now he's compromised. He's in the body with the walkout, not walked out yet. This entity, usually a regressive ET, doesn't have to be, but usually it'll be a reptilian consciousness or gray consciousness. They're not in their physical forms when they do it. They're in their
Right.
astral, sentient, spiritual form. Anyway, and now they compromise. Now you go in, and now it's a real party in here. There's the body, the walk out, the walk in, and this slam in entity. And he will, and all the consciousness and the memories and thoughts of all four feel like one. It feels like one person just talking about it and thinking about it because you can't really tell the difference between your thoughts, the walkout's thoughts, the body's thoughts, or the slam in's thoughts. It can be really confusing.
That's one of the things I notice with some of the people we tend to work with, or I tend to work with. It's like not everyone has it, but there's gonna be few who are not alone in their body. And we're not talking just about the entities or the alters or like fragments of other people, but it's like another being more like a slamming. And it's quite often where you're talking to a person, you're seeing, their physical form, it's all fine. But if I would just consciousness shift and be in their room or in their space and scan them, it's like there's an overlay as if there was a reptilian or a Draco within, like in the actual shape. And the person feel like not alone in the body, or like there's the reptilian or someone else's head in their head, and they're feeling headache, like they don't have enough space within. They're feeling like this pressure, or they're feeling some control, or they're trying to do stuff, and they lose control, or someone else takes over their body for a few seconds, does something physically. Um, Mind alteration where, it's like putting thoughts in their head, affecting how they feel, like what they feel, how they feel, amplifying certain emotions, making them react to some stuff, triggering them. And there's usually this personality overlay where people who interact with that person who has a slam in, it's like they pick up not the person that they see, but that reptilian or Draco or Mantis or some other ET who got into their space. So this person is like all loving and kind and like trying to help coworkers and trying their best, like really working their ass off. And they're like, hey, well, no one recognizes me. I'm always alone. I'm always isolated. And I look into their stuff and it's like there's this reptilian sitting within their body. At times, like not necessarily all the time. Like there are differences where someone can tune in, be there for a while and leave, while others tune in and stay like in the actual shape with you. And boy, some people are perceived as like complete like narcissists or psychopaths or aggressive, bully. Like people cannot handle that person's energy. But it's not the person that is the ET that's sitting in the actual shape within the body, scaring the crap out of everyone. So, like some
Yeah,
people have like a lot of hearts because of that. Like they're like trying their best and like still getting a lot of pushback.
yeah. So some of these, let's just take the reptilian one,
Mhm.
for
Yeah.
example. So it could be a slam in, which would mean by definition, this particular reptilian that you're seeing is superimposed, came in when a walk-in came in. Okay. So we'd call that one a slam in. If he stuck around and stayed the duration, right? That would he's in, he likes it, and he would take over the body like he did the queen's body or something.
Right.
If he could, it'd just be new rich. What an asshole! I know, right? He is, isn't he? Yeah. Did you see his teeth? Did you see his eyes? Yeah, I saw that. Anyway, walk in. No, slam in. But if it's not a walk in, walk out scenario without a slam in, a reptilian in the astral form could still move in and superimpose and stay the duration. Okay.
Mhm.
So that's a phenomenon. But then the other phenomena is that didn't happen. Okay. The other, it's like reptilian, whatever, for whatever reason, has targeted the person, and now they're in here with that cloaking sort of. They're putting that persona out. Whatever other people are seeing the icky personality of the reptilian beingness. The poor guy on the inside doesn't even notice it necessarily. Something might be going on. He feels something, or he might see it. But anyway, so this is yet a third kind of reptilian possession thing. And this guy might stay for a while and then might leave. But he might stay a long time too. But different kind of reptilians would be coming into one's space for different reasons. Personal reasons, or they're working as a team, or working a mission, and their mission is to blah 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 with the individual that's been targeted. So there's several different scenarios that it could be.
Right.
Is that how you see it too?
Yeah, and sometimes it's also similar to ETs hanging around in someone else's space, ETs, entities, that consciousness shifting. You know how physical body falls asleep and we tend to tune in into some like another aspect we have. A lot of ETs have the tech to transfer their consciousness and kind of like access someone else, be in their space. So, trying to imprint people, alter their lives and stuff like that. Like there's a lot of varieties, and like you're saying, it would be kind of hard to pinpoint everything on that. Like if this is happening, it's only a slamming phenomena or the other one. Like there's so many cases where, for us, with so many possibilities and tech out there, it's really hard to understand what's really going on. So we have like a lot of like puzzle pieces, but we're trying to put a picture together.
Yeah. Somebody comes to us and they know they got an entity issue. Sometimes they can see them, sometimes they can hear them, sometimes they can feel them, sometimes all three. So it takes a while for us to sort out one, what the client can see, so we know how to work with the client. Are we doing all the work, or can the client see and talk to them and stuff? So all this stuff comes into play, and then when we get it sorted out, okay, now is this the priority, or is this some other bigger? You think that's bad? Then they finally tell you the real problem,
right?
And so the reptilian sitting over in the corner go, I thought I was going to get a lot of attention,
right?
Anyway.
Another interesting phenomena, like among what we're talking about, is like Incubus and Succubus, just because those guys affect a lot of people throughout day or night, doesn't really matter. But it's like when they get into our space, and it's not necessarily just what people would consider the nightly interactions where people get, sexually messed with, or, other stuff happens. But it's like now part of their beingness stays with the person. And one can get this incubus or succubus energy, alter personality to where they start like becoming like a magnet, attracting the wrong kind of people. So throughout the night, you've been attacked by succubus or incubus, you go out throughout the day, and now you start attracting like psychos and narcissists, and they want to hang out with you, they want to have sex. They're not necessarily like, hey, let's have a relationship, let's connect. They're more like there's a goal. Siphon your energy, trigger you, get something out of you, bye-bye. But they're gonna come in this way of teasing you, and like this sirens in the sea. They have this
With the
way of
beautiful voices.
yeah. So you feel all enchanted and drowsing in all those memories and ideas and feelings they put into your head. It's like, okay, good luck.
Yeah, that whole incubus succubus thing is huge subject. There's so many dynamics and things. But yeah, the one you're just talking about, let's say you get this incubus, and uh, or well, the idea is that it gets into your space and it's doing things to you or with you, and maybe it for guys, I guess girls do it too, but guys will go, some guys, they're naive and don't know what the fuck. They go, oh, this sounds like a good idea. I'm going to go search online how to conjure up succubus. Okay, good luck with that, because it can be fun at first. And now the part where you're talking about, now they got their little girlfriend here, but it's getting a little over frisky and bossy, and is not listening and just doing, just taking. But now the guy wants to get rid of it, but there's something about the character of this succubus that was, hey, I like that. Like, this is what I want, give it to me, or to say, this is what I want, let me tell you exactly what it is, and you're going to give it to me. He kind of liked that about her character. Oh, now it can be any character phenomena, but it's like the guy himself will now be running around out there with that energetic frequency vibration. And on one level, he's going, no, I don't want to be that way. I don't want that thing in my life. But now he's being the same way the fucking weirdo sex demon was being. And now he's attracting people in his life, and it's causing problems.
I actually had this like real life encounter with a real succubus, but it's more like a person who was aware, who was doing what people call psychic work, or had this clear audience, clear sentience, clairvoyance, like all that stuff, just hits off all the buttons, has been doing spiritual work, has been doing a lot of the tarot card readings, numerology, astrology, talking with spirit guides, like has huge profile, but kind of messed with the wrong energies, played around, wants to have fun, gets taken over, and boom, this woman was something. Like, there's a level of how much I can tolerate, and like I'm trying to be really tolerant. Like, if it's your style, if it's your lifestyle, you go, girl, you go, guy. Like, good for you. But I was like, whoa, stay away from me, because this lady was like all over everyone. Whoever she sees, doesn't matter, guy or girl, she goes touchy, feely, flirty, everything. She goes and like, we meet for the first time. She's going, hi, she's touching my face. I'm like, how
Oh,
nice this up? Yo, stop. Sounds too much. And it's like, just too much stuff happens. But the thing is, like, I've been working with her in the same space. Like, we meet like a few times a week. There's a group of people, we work together. And I've been seeing her here and there. And for about half a year, I've done the work. And it took me a while to notice that there's a succubus, because I was like, that's a weird person. It's too much for me. Like, I like the energy and everything. I was like, I need some distance. But then I was like watching, and I talked to Kim. She gave me some insights, and I started like looking, and then I started seeing the succubus, like that I'm talking about right now. Once I started knowing, and that technique where you mentioned, like, you look someone in the eyes, and you have this knowingness, like, I know who you are. You have like complete, and I looked at her. I just like the whole thing, like, not doing anything. I'm just sitting there perceiving, but that look, like, I know who you are.
Yeah.
And then I started doing the work, telepathically communicating with the succubus, while the person, lady, she just does her own stuff, just communicating. And I was like talking, trying to have conversations, seeing if I can make a deal to kick her out. Why is she sticking with the lady? What's up? Then I started like interacting with the lady, and it's like having various conversations in spiritual regards, like about soul contracts, about her life, past and stuff, and in it all, just dropping some key questions for both her and the succubus about the personality, about like some things they have in common agreements and stuff like that. To the point where that succubus had too much and left. And the lady changed. She comes in, acts completely different. No longer touchy-feely, grabby, flirty, and everything else. It's like her persona changed, but it became professional and very soft and very feminine. And she became super sweet and caring and loving, and even attractive more than she ever could, being all this different succubus more like being. So like, it was like very interesting encounter. But that was like a real life experience, to where you're not working with just an entity who comes in throughout the night does something, but it was like someone who's staying with a person 24/7. That was tough. So
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah. How amazing.
that was something. Oh, but
Uh-huh.
like I work with quite a few people who have this incubus and succubus phenomenon, and a lot of times it's not just the guys. A lot of girls are like that too, but it's more of like that damsel in distress, or the girl has heard so many stories where in nature or the psychological regard, there's this like need for a hero or a prince or a knight on a white horse to be safe, to be cared for, and stuff like that. A lot of women fantasize about those scenarios where they want to be saved, they want help, they want those scenarios where they're in some really harsh situation and somebody saves her. And she can fantasize about it all day long. She can be like, oh, I'm at work and I'm having such a hard time, and here's this person she doesn't have no idea. And he comes and he cares for me and like he gets me out of the situation and we go for a drink of coffee or something. And I've had quite a few women who did that kind of thing. Just fantasize about being saved. Yeah. Whether saved by the boss at work or just meeting someone outside and stuff like that, they got contacted by the Incubus. Fits all those standards. Can get her away from all the hardships at work and gives her the energy and the sexual pleasure. That's like few first nights or weeks are fun. But then it's like, okay, she had those needs met, done. Next thing, no, the Incubus didn't give a damn. She's like, let's go, girl. And she was like,
Uh-huh.
well, he keeps on touching me. He keeps on messing with me. Like, there's so many things where a lot of people will fantasize and create scenarios where they open the door, inviting someone else to fit that role. Someone else can come in and be that, but you no longer can get them out. As in, you're not aware of what's going on. And you're like, if you consciously invited that being, you have to consciously get it out. It's not going to be like, oh, what the hell's going on? And why is someone touching me? And why am I being sexually abused throughout the night and stuff? Like, a lot of things happen.
One of the most profound ones that a friend of mine had going, she would wake up in the morning, like her eyes are closed, but she's wide awake. Now she feels this guy on top of her, doing her, and she feels his whiskers, so she knows,
Mm-hmm.
exactly, how
Yep.
much shave he's done, all this stuff, his hot breath on her cheek, everything. But if she opens her eyes, she can't see it. It's invisible. But, it's a classic, uh, serious shit, man. It happened maybe once or twice a month. So very real stuff. Just not perceived by everybody.
Yeah. A lot of times people will also use, drugs and psychedelics and other things that will burn their energy shield while they're doing something to attract the incubus and succubus. Whether it's just curiosity or wanting to have some of their needs satisfied, or just like, ooh, what's gonna happen if? And then they have done all the wrong shit to trigger it. Now they're being targeted and they can't get rid of it. And they're looking like, okay, how do I get rid of the incubus and succubus? So, as we're talking about this topic, what would be like some of the key tools or things you would suggest people they can do for themselves or they can use with others to get rid of the incubus and succubus?
I think the first thing is to be able to determine if that's what it is. And a lot of people will have the psychic abilities of one kind or another, and they can see it and feel it. Sometimes they can talk to it. It'll be telepathic, or they'll hear actual audio in their head. But that's the first step, identifying it. And then if you can identify it, then you want to be able to communicate to it. And you can do this on your own if you got the abilities, or you can do it with some help. But next thing you want to do is communicate with it. And then when you communicate with it, there's lots of things you can do, but you don't have to do it all usually. But you got all these things you can do in communication wise. Why are you here? What is your intentions toward me? When did you get here? What do we have in common? Is there a sex kink that you like that I like? Am I the only one? Am I the only one? No, sweetheart. Sorry to disappoint.
But this happens.
Yeah. So anyway, you communicate with it, and there's two things that are happening. You are waking up, not you, but the person is waking up more as they communicate with the entity, but you're also waking up the entity more. Because it's, how we kind of run on automatic and just do shit without really thinking about it. And it was just, and they will do that too. They're like that as well. So they're at different levels of awakefulness and intent themselves. So as you're talking to it, it's waking up more too. And it's going, oh, this motherfucker knows who I am and what I'm about. Now, at the foundation of all this is the consciousness that I am, or that you are, or that we are, is very powerful. And we have limited ourselves through consideration, agreement, beliefs, blah, blah, blah. So now we are thinking and believing that we are the victim of this sex entity. But as we wake up and we become more aware of who and what we are and how manifestation works, including the manifestation of these sex entities, they start seeing what we're fucking figuring out. And they're going, oh shit, he is the creator or the source of me. They might leave. But if they're a little more aggressive, no, he's never going to figure it out. He thinks he's got it. He thinks he knows his shit. And it'll stick around and fuck with you and try to go invisible or disappear on you. So there's a lot of questions you can do to track it down if it tries to leave, unveil it if it tries to hide itself. Lots of different things. And it just gets more and more nervous or aware that you can undo it. And pretty soon it's okay, we're done here. I'll go somewhere else and play. But sometimes those agreements and beliefs are deep, and it takes a while for the individual to sort out their own stuff and how they are causing this to happen to themselves with some agreement or some decision or some belief system, some activities they were involved in, or some other aspect of themselves that they're connected with. I didn't have anything to do with it. Yeah, but your dark side did. What dark side? The dark side you can't see right now, motherfucker. Oh, that dark side. Oh, okay. But that dark side could have been really involved in this sort of business. And somehow you connected with, what do you and the demon have in common? Your dark side. Okay. You're a real buddy. It gets deep like that. So, but that's what I'd recommend for people to do is understand the phenomena, the individual being, how to communicate with it. And it's not just what to say, it's how to present yourself.
Yeah.
You present yourself as a facilitator, not as the victim. Or get your shit out of my fucking bedroom, motherfucker. No, they love that angry, emotional stuff.
Absolutely.
So you'll just learn about how to deal with these kinds of entities and talk to them, and you can talk yourself out of that relationship. It will leave, and you can always use strength of imagining. You can imagine other sentinels coming in and grabbing the entity and take them. There's all kinds of strategies. Find a better partner, a playmate than you.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of strategies. So
one of the things I'll add to the list is that a lot of people tend to attract the incubus and succubus by what they fantasize about. And it can be innocent. They just go to bed and while playing with themselves or just like throughout the day, they create a scenario. Oh, it's like my own paradise island or something and a resort, and we just had this thing. People watch movies, people read books, and they can visualize stuff, they can think about it, they have intentions of what they want to experience, they recreate the scenarios with them being in someone else's place. And that little fantasy, you're a creator being with your intentions and imagination and whatever, you create that realm You create the beings, you place yourself in that reality. That whole experience and scenario you just wrote up or read about and really liked and wanted to experience and like put yourself in someone else's place, now you're experiencing it. Part of you is. And then you're like, okay, I'm done. Do. Like you satisfy yourself, you go along with your day. That realm is still there. You are still there, experiencing that stuff.
Yeah.
And then day by day, every day, you fantasize about something. Another realm, another realm, another realm, another realm, another realm, another realm. You have so many beings coming in, playing with you, that in a few years, you're like, why the hell am I so exhausted? Why do I no longer have visuals? Why this? Why that? Why that? Why that? And just like people wonder, why is my higher self or over self not helping me? Just think how you, as consciousness, created tons of places with another aspect of you in that place and forgot about it and left it be. Sexually abused or just having fun in this cycle, and now that part is like, okay, it's been a million times, I'm done, I want to get out, but please someone help me. That part of you is still praying to get out of that little realm that you've created. So
Yeah. And
go
you're the
on.
God that created that
Exactly.
that other self in that little fantasy world with all the fun. Now you're the God of that realm, and that little bit of you is going, please God, please dumbass on earth, please help me. And you like completely forgot about it. Well, is that happening? Did that already happen? And you know, I'm the please help me. Bitch, I already forgot about you. You have
Yeah.
to shout really loud for me to get my attention because I am so done creating your dumb ass on earth. You're just going to leave me here? Well, what have you done? You
Right?
know, how many imaginings, fantasies have I had as an individual had? Uh, and they haven't taken the responsibility to like, okay, I'm done here. Everybody back in the bus.
Exactly.
Let's go back. Everybody comes back. Okay, now we're good. Now that's a soul fragment retrieval technique, and that will work. But this is the sort of things humans don't normally know about. All these strategies and techniques and weird things that we're talking about.
And it goes in many scenarios where what you're saying, like we create a scenario alive and then undoing it. Like, okay, I fantasize about it. It was fun. I got what I wanted. Now you uncreate that fantasy's done. Everyone can come back or go like wherever you want as fragments and beings you've invited. But a lot of people in their heads will play a victim scenario of, oh, I want to die. So they imagine being hit by the car and then someone cares about them. Like people will have certain needs or cravings, like wanting to be acknowledged, wanting the attention. I want to see if that person really cares for me and how would they react if this has happened. And they create tons of the scenarios where there is a certain story in the background that they've played in their mind and they let go of, as in like, okay, like how many negative scenarios have you created where you wanted to assume how someone else would react, and then you're like, ah, 5 minutes later of creating a negative ass scenario of you suffering and someone in the end saying, oh my god, sweetie, are you okay? And you're like, like you've been suffering and hit by the car and something else has happened, and but at the end you got that little thing, but you've just created like an endless story of negative stuff happening to you day after day after day, and that stuff is in the background. It's like as if you're writing the story and script of your life into the future. You're constantly creative negative stories that at some point, they're manifesting. Why am I
Yeah,
having constant bad luck and stuff? Well, bitch, you've been writing about it.
exactly. Yeah,
So,
that reminds me of something I was thinking about this morning. There's the idea that astrology, when you really look into it, how things align in your houses and your constellations and all that stuff, uh, it does a real good job of telling your life story. So it was so good in my life story. I go, whoa, I'm gonna have to rethink astrology because I thought, wow, fuck astrology, that's bullshit. But okay, so it's all about the planets and the constellations and the stars and all that stuff. Mother Earth, Gaia, is a consciousness. The sun is a conscious being. So every star and every planet and its location in space and time is consciousness that has influenced my life when I chose the moment to be born and the location to be born in. It all fits together. I go, okay, is this part of the grand scheme of writing one's life script, and soul contract plays a part in this vastly complex thing of writing a life script? And I go, yeah, it must. But well, why would Venus in retrograde or something like that in my fourth house be affecting me, or why would I feel the effects of that and it'd be predictably correct if you do the star charts? Why is that happening? Well, the only way I could sort it out is the consciousness that is in each planet is an aspect of my own consciousness. I am all of this. And I'm playing little me on Earth being born as this particular human being. But, but do that a billion, 6 or 7, 8 billion times. And this is the vastness of the consciousness that I am, choosing to be me here, but still all the stuff will come into play and be an accurate prediction. With that said, am I destined to a life of whatever because of am I a cause over my star charts and predictions of astrology, or am I the effect? And that would be where we have each the opportunity to rewrite the script. And this is back to what you were saying. We're thinking all shit all day long, and we're literally rewriting our scripts moment by moment, and it keeps changing. So you get all into your sexual fantasies and this, that, and the other thing, and then you get mad at somebody, and oh man, the fantasy of being an assassin, for the good guys, who hasn't done that? Raise your hand. I'm the only one who raises my hand. I go, anyway, we're rewriting these scripts all the time, and it comes into play in such a way that our life manifests just the way it is. But we are ultimately responsible for all that incubus, succubus, sex targeting. I'm not saying it's like it's your fault, but it is. But it's just part of the challenge of being human and sorting all this stuff out. This is incredibly complex experience here. Yeah, I could keep going.
That's all good.